I don't know how many of you charge application fees or not, but my understanding is this came out January 1st of this year, and normally what happens is, before, if you run their credit report, you run their criminal, credit, you can charge a fee for that. Now, according to this, if they produce their own report, then you can't recharge them for doing your own report. So if they produce the report for you, then you can't recharge them and charge them an application fee. Two, there's another new law.
I'm sorry, did you say can or cannot?
Cannot.
Cannot.
Yeah.
Okay. How about if they do it on Zillow or one of these?
Well, Zillow, I don't think it's how you interpret that, but
Okay.
it's got to be a certain requirement. I'm not sure Zillow, it might be, is considered
Or the
proper.
other websites are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zillow application, it's $30.
But they
Zillow's charging $9.
They charge the tenants, the applicants. But are we allowed to charge them or do credit check on our own, or that's duplicated?
Yeah, you can't, if they produce their own report showing everything from a bona fide service, then you can't recharge them for a new application fee.
Okay.
Because they already produced it for you.
But their report that they're showing you must meet your standards, which means if you're asking for both background and credit check, they must show you both in one report.
Yeah, that sounds.
And you can ask to see the electronic copy on a digital. They have to pull it up for you. It doesn't have to be necessarily printed either, because we all know people will fake pay stubs or whatever else the case, credit report, anything like that can be faked.
Right.
But if you ask them to pull it up in front of you, then you've got a pretty good working knowledge of what they're showing you is actually accurate.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Is there a timeline on that report?
Can it be from 2 years ago?
No.
Or can you
30
say it
days.
has to be
30
30
days.
days?
30 days, I believe, is what, you the lawyer.
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
Jamie
Oh.
stays up on things pretty well.
Yeah.
I usually take what he says at face value.
My understanding is it must be within 30 days.
Another law, which sounds pretty common sense, but it's under the Landlord Retaliation Act. If somebody calls the city on you, you can't evict them for that. If it's against, retaliation, I'll have you guys read that. That sounds like common
Do
sense.
you interpret this as retaliation it's a 12-month period, which in that 12-month period you can't raise the rent either?
I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that. Actually, I don't know. I'm just introducing some different laws.
Is there
Bob
any-
asked me to bring up.
any
Maybe I can
cases?
research that later. I
Yeah.
can research it later, yeah.
That law's new enough, I don't know that anything's, I've not
No
seen any
cases have gone
reports of
through, so my
anything.
question would be, can our leases automatically have a rental increase at every 12-month intervals that would basically negate that law?
What do you think? Can you increase the rent? Yeah,
That would be.
Is it retaliation if
Under
it's
the
in
law,
your
it
lease?
says that there's exceptions as long as you do it without intent to discriminate, so.
So
If
in your
you
lease,
say, well,
there's no
everybody's
intent.
getting a raise, everybody, so you're just one of the group, right? That would be good
Yeah.
evidence that you're not singling them out, right?
Yeah.
Even though,
But if it's
whatever.
automatically included in your lease on every 12-month period, that there's a rent increase based on.
My question is this, Mike, if it says in that statute that you can't discriminate against people who would turn you into the city for code violation, well, how do you know that they're the ones that turn you into the code violation? They never tell you, right? So
It just seems like all these new landlord-tenant laws that have come out, I'll say since January 1st of '24, they can be interpreted so many different ways and they're so ambiguously written, they're just, who knows?
yeah.
And I don't believe there's a lot of case law yet on a lot of these new laws that have come through that,
Yeah, we'll just be careful. As you all know, under the Illinois Human Rights Act, you cannot discriminate a tenant based upon their immigration status. And there is this. I think that's all, and then I think that's all I had. I think I wanted to bring up about the immigration, about the application fee.
So if you require a social security number, is that discriminatory
You
based
can't
on?
discriminate against immigrants.
Yeah.
That's in there.
So you can't ask for a social security number?
No, you can do that. Right, Warren, does it, as long as.
What?
I
How
think you
would,
can do
how
that. You
would
can ask
somebody
for
that's
a social security number.
undocumented have a social security number?
How am I supposed to do a background check?
And is, federal law still supersedes, right, no matter what
Yeah.
Illinois says?
I don't think that's discriminatory though, asking for a, for that information.
If you're undocumented, you don't have one.
And I've got a
You can't
follow-up
discriminate
question to that as well.
Yeah,
So, just no.
So you can't ask anybody for a social security number?
he wants to know, can you ask for a social security number, a tenant? I think you can, I
Yeah,
say
you
you
can,
can.
because
I say
you have
can.
to have that to do a credit check on them.
But if.
But I see what you're saying, though,
If
yeah.
asking that for that social security number is in
No,
itself
that's not-
discriminatory because.
We do that, you know.
Yeah, I would not say that's
Because
discriminatory.
you have to have that in order to do a credit check.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you cannot discriminate against an illegal immigrant, they don't have it, is that in fact discrimination? And then the follow-up to that is, it's my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I teach in this room several hundred hours a year. If I can't ask the illegal immigrant for a background check, then I can't ask Jamie either, because now I'm not treating people the same. Is that also a violation?
No cases yet.
Well, I know.
That's questionable.
That's
What,
yeah.
what he's leading up to, we've had Prairie State come several times. And what they preach time and time again, Thomas Dennis, I'm friends with, one of the attorneys for them, is to treat everybody fair. That's why the income source law, they want us, that's where Drew's leading to. And I agree with how his approach to this is, but it's treating everybody, you can't ask this, pardon my French, the black guy over here for more money or the whatever over here. You can't.
Treat
it needs-
those people differently.
Correct. I didn't mean,
Who are
and
those people?
nothing against if there was any here. It's not against it. I'm just trying to make an example of how Prairie State was presenting there. They want us as landlords to be treating everybody the same because there was a new income law. Hey, I got Section 8. I preach to our group all the time. You cannot advertise that. There's still people that do, and they're gonna, we don't take Section 8 or whatever, and you got to be careful because that's an easy Prairie State case.
If I only offer month-to-month leases, is that discriminatory against somebody that's Section 8 because they require a 12-month lease?
Yeah.
No, I see what you're saying. I don't know the answer to that. I'd say no, personally, but.
We have several landlords that they only do month-to-month leases. That's, and I see their point. But
Do any of you have any further questions about either the eviction process or any questions about code violations for Warren?
Sure,
I've recently declined a couple of tenants in a northern county for evictions in the past. They say, oh, okay, maybe I can take care of that. They go back into court even though it was a year ago, and they get them wiped clean.
They get their eviction wiped clean?
And then they call back and they're like, I got it overturned, so now I qualify? Is that process?
I don't see how they can get their
You
eviction.
can get them sealed correctly?
Yeah, they get
correct?
sealed. I don't see how they can get it over,
Okay, for what reasons would they get them sealed? Because then they don't show.
Because it's Illinois, and Illinois will do damn well what they do.
Okay.
Right?
Well, the only way you get it unsealed is if they file a motion, but then they gotta notify you as the party member, so they can't just do it themselves.
She apparently eviction?
I don't believe it. I don't think that's true.
No, that person's eviction is not with you, right? It's with
No,
someone else.
not with us,
It's with
somebody
someone
else.
Yeah, what you're
Yeah.
saying is, hey, I
You know-
got my record cleaned up, can I have your house now?
Yes.
No, you don't
Yeah.
see.
Sorry, I find a more qualified tenant and move on and ghost them.
Yep.
Block.
I was just surprised it was that easy
That's
for.
I don't think, I never heard
Within
of that.
2 weeks, she went in and got a
So-
court
so she-
date, called me today and said, okay, it's taken care of, it's not on my record. I said, well, you gotta show me proof.
Yeah, so there was a judgment against her, and then
In
she got.
December of '23 for eviction, granted.
Uh-huh.
And then she applied for something a couple months ago and I declined it because of the eviction. And she just called me back today and said, well, I got it taken care of.
Well, yeah, I'm interested, I mean, find that proof of that, I mean,
I was-
you have to file a motion, and you have to go in front of the judge and do all that, and if you file a motion, then you.
And she did.
Oh, then, no,
She did.
did you get that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, with the
received
other
it.
landlord, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure. She said it was for non-payment.
Yeah, well,
so-
that's true then, I mean, if she paid and didn't pay, or if she filed some type of motion, the judge granted it, that's true.
Oh, I know, it's just, it caught me off guard, cause that was my criteria for declining.
Yeah.
Very black and white,
Yeah.
a history of eviction.
If, as long as, yeah, if a motion is filed and there's due process and there's a hearing, the judge could undo that eviction.
That little block feature on your phone is a very
I
useful
would,
tool.
I would your guns, you still have the history whether she got it sealed
Well,
or
and I'm
not.
guessing if I reach out to the previous landlord, and she has a history of non-payment, that'll be my.
The history's still there.
Yes.
Whether or not the public can find it or not.
Yeah, I was just shocked, I was like, what, they can just get on. Right.
So the process is for eviction, we send or hand 5-day eviction notice, which I did the tenant in late December, and she told me it's not right. She can't find the place in 5 days. What's next? Then I take her to court, like.
Yeah, okay, so you served
after
the 5 day in
days, if she
December?
doesn't.
You served the 5 day in December,
Mhm.
and they're still there?
Well,
And they
she
never paid
paid,
you?
but still owes lots of money.
Did they pay you within the 5 days?
Yes.
Oh, they paid you within the 5 days?
She's still, but okay, I wanted her out because she owes me lots of
Yeah,
money.
you gotta do a new 5 day. So after you serve a 5 day, if they pay you within 5 days, then it's no good. Because that's the 5 day notice means, you have 5 days to pay me the amount owed. If they pay you the amount owed, then you can't do it. Also, if they pay you the amount owed, after the 5 days and you accept it, that might make that 5 day notice moot.
That's
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta be careful about that. So do they owe you money now, as of today?
Mhm.
Well, give
Yeah,
them
I
a
want
5 day
her out,
notice.
so in case, but in general, in case they don't pay, so then I can take her to court, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you gotta give them a new 5, you gotta give them a new 5 day.
And then I meet her there.
Yeah.
Now, if we have a company, do I need a lawyer or I can do it
Yes.
by myself? That's-
No, you need a lawyer. You
Then
can't
I
do it
need
by
you.
yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever said no when anybody asked you that question?
No, I know the judge told me that, that's
Yeah,
why I
was it
know.
Judge Mack? What, Judge Mack said that?
I don't know, it was a few years ago. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Anything?
I've got one, and I apologize if this is a repeat, I'd step out and take care of some business, but, vacant properties, squatters. I'm running into situations where PPD were like, that's a civil matter, we can't do anything about it. But my understanding is if I serve them, now they've got tenant rights. How are we handling that?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I forgot to add that. So if you have squatters, that's not that difficult, actually. You don't know their names, you don't know who they are. Same thing applies though. You give them a 5 day. You can establish, this is what the rent is. You got 5 days to pay me. They don't pay you. And then you just add, and instead of naming them, you name them as any and all unknown occupants. And that's how you file it.
But doesn't that give them rights then, when they, literally, it's B&E?
It might be, but if the cops refuse to take them out,
Okay,
then it's a civil matter. The only way to do that would be through
Okay.
that process.
okay.
All right, broke in.
I got a suggestion.
Oh, I have lots of suggestions.
No, I mean, one that, my understanding is like, we use, anytime we have a vacant property, I set up a Simply Safe alarm system.
Uh-huh.
It's monitored, it's like $25 a month. It's monitored. Anytime that alarm goes off and the police show up, it don't matter, they'll escort whoever's on that property off.
Nice, okay.
And you never have a
I
squat.
actually lost a furnace in January.
What's it called?
Kick the door in.
It's
stole
a
the
simply
furnace.
safe alarm system, but it operates on a cellular service, so you don't have to have Wi-Fi in the house to have this alarm. Anytime there's an active alarm that's, set off, it'll notify Peoria Police Department. Well, they'll call you first and then say, yes, send somebody there. If anybody's on the property, they're gonna get arrested, because now it's breaking and entering.
Nice, okay.
It's not a squatter situation.
All right.
And that way, it's $25 a month.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
peace of
Cheap
mind.
insurance.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
do that from house to house.
I do, yeah.
And no Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi, it operates on a cellular service. If, say my house is vacant for 30 days,
Yeah.
it's always armed, ready to go. At the end of the 30 days, I call them up, hey, cancel the service, take it with me. And then I'll set it up on the next property. It costs me, I think, $200
And
total.
then they set up the service.
Yes, I've got 3 motion sensors, so front door, back door, and then like a main window in the bedroom or something like that. And that's it.
Where do you get it from?
It's Simply Safe is the name of the company.
Oh, it's a company that
Yeah.
sells.
Yeah, so,
okay,
yeah,
not
I hear
a-
the ads for it all the time.
Yeah, and for a couple
That's-
$100 and
that's
$25 a
great
month to
idea.
monitor,
That's a
it's
great
peace of
idea.
mind, and there's no such thing as a squatter that way.
But you said you can cancel after,
Yeah, you can cancel anytime.
okay.
You just pay for
And you
whatever you
said
need.
there's no Wi-Fi, but you.
It operates on, it's a built-in cellular service that's built into their. Yeah.
Mike, I have another question. Maybe you don't want to answer this because you've told me, but some of these guys are probably wondering maybe what you charge. I mean, if you don't want to answer that, because maybe each case is a little bit different, you don't feel like you have to.
I
They all
generally
got-
charge $400 for possession only. $200 is my fee, $125 is the process server, $75 is the, $75 is the process server, $125 is the filing fee. And then if you want a money judgment, it's $650.
And on the court date, do we have to be present or you take care of it?
I take care of it, I only need you if we go to trial. If we go to trial, then someone's gotta be there testifying.
And your fee can be collected, right? From, well, if they don't have anybody.
Well, if you have a lease, then yeah. Oh, but then I charge $500 more if I gotta do a bench trial. So 90% of the time, I'm usually able to get it all done for $400, but if we gotta do a trial, then I charge $500 more.
I just did 4 of them with Michael not too terribly long ago that were squatter situation. We have no idea who's there. What was it, 45 days, whatever, we had everything back.
Well, yeah, I knew that answer, but I just wanted him, I think it's an amazing price, you guys. He's already,
Yeah, that's
you're gonna get a lawyer to
very
come do work
reasonable.
for you for $200, and that usually scares a tenant. You have the, lawyer standing in front of him. I would think that help, if you're doing it 90% of the time, amazing number, so.
Any other questions, guys, for anything about, Warren's been a landlord for a long time, so if you guys have any questions.
I guess this might be, a dumb question, but kind of piggybacking off of what Bob and some others were saying about the discrimination and checking for social security and all that. Is it possible to create a document that you use as a standard for everybody, like say an application process, and say that if you are wanting to, possibly rent from us, that you agree to random questioning within legal limits or legal terminology, so that they agree to being questioned at random, or?
You have the application, right? The application.
I think most people pre-screen.
So you're.
I think most people pre-screen. You're gonna weed out 90% of that.
Never happened.
That's because it's
That's
January
great.
1st of 24.
I've only had 2 in 18 years, so I'm pretty good,
Now,
yeah.
take a class in Illinois Human Rights Act, which is a kind of a piggyback on it.
Yeah.
So, and if you listen to what Prairie State says, just a simple act of saying, hey, I need to do a background check, creates a disparate impact. Because they have nothing to do with background check on.
Understood.
And Prairie State,
You
of course,
don't get into
we all believe in,
gray area.
Sun Tzu's Art of War, what's the enemy thinking, so we've had Prairie State in here a few times. They're like, well, until there's a case law, we can't really answer the question.
Understood.
you know, and right now, I don't
There's not
know of any,
case.
you guys know of any case law on that?
I've been.
I'm not sure.
Constantly, and
Yeah.
I've not seen certain ones come up, anything for, immigration status, I have not seen come up, and that went into effect in 2024, actually.
Yeah, it was
That January
24,
20.
proof of income was 23 and immigration
Yeah,
was
source of
24.
income was 23,
Yep.
and I have not seen anything come through, I mean, you guys would look at it more than I would.
So it's basically
I'm not
just a
sure.
gray area right now.
Right now, Illinois is doing everything they can to put you out of business.
Jake, I suggest doing a pre-screening. When they message you and call, you're allowed, without having anything in paper, I suggest, asking, how many people are in the household or who's living there and a little bit about their income. I don't believe, is there any break? This is what we call pre-screening. There ain't no paper, you haven't signed nothing. I think most of us probably do that. And I think you'll weed out a lot of your questions, I think will be got. I
That
mean,
makes sense, yeah.
because a lot of it's through Facebook and Messenger and all that. At least that's how we don't give our phone number out to too many people. We're okay with that. We have
I've got
really
about
good
no
tenants,
one.
but I suggest a little more pre-screening on some of that, Jake. But I mean, it's a good question though. So, do we have anything else for them? Well, gentlemen, you guys want to go to Olympia Bar? It'll be on me.
Well, I got one thing I want to
Oh,
add for
okay.
everybody here, if you guys are done. This came up in the middle of my pre-license class a couple of weeks ago. So this is January 20th of this year. So Chicago, following a sweeping undercover investigation by housing watchdog group, Housing Rights Initiative, HRI, filed the largest discrimination case in Illinois history against 165 agents, brokerages, and landlords alleging illegal discrimination against low-income housing. They're out there looking for you. HUD has teams of people. You can go on Indeed or jobs.com right now and get a job as a HUD tester. And go out and talk to your fellow landlords and see if they're gonna discriminate against you. And HUD will file the cases. They just filed 165 in Chicago 3 weeks ago.
So that's why I
So
tell people,
be vigilant.
keep that off your application, those sections. If you don't want to do it, the guys that don't want to do it, they're gonna move on, and they're pre-screening, they're gonna learn that. I'm not suggesting that because it's illegal probably. And we use Section 8. I like the program for the most part, you know what I mean? So we don't do that, but what I'm saying is just don't spell it out for them. Don't put it out there when they message you or call you. You're taking applications. That's what you're telling people. You're taking an application or give us your information. So just because I'm guessing Prairie State's understaffed and don't have time to chase these. Obviously they have time to chase some up there, but just don't hand them an easy case, you guys,
Right.
you know?
I have 6 houses on HUD.
I do too. That's exactly how many I got.
But what if you have a house that you don't wanna put that amount of money into to bring it up?
I totally agree with you. I
got
totally
a
agree.
driveway
So,
that's rough, that's a trip hazard and friggin'.
well, if someone messages that, just I don't know how to answer that. I'm not.
Set the rent
I-
higher than standard.
Mr. Dance, do you have an answer to that question? They would need $10,000 to put into the property to make it HUD ready. How? What do technically it's, and you don't have it, or do you want to wait 60 days for HUD to inspect it? I see this argument too. I don't know how slow they are. Anybody had one leased up lately? Jeff, anybody?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how long's it taken?
It took 2 months.
2 months. So
When I applied,
from the day you dropped it off to the day you got a lease,
8 weeks of no income, yeah.
2 months of income. So at the same time, some of us we're not all rich. We need that income. So I can see the argument where I can't wait. I can have it rented in a week. You know what I mean? You could have probably in a week or two if you're assuming your rent's fair and you got somebody qualified.
And then when they damage the house, costs
Well,
$6,000-$7,000.
But
to fix it
I
after
see
they
that argument
move
both
out.
sides.
You
I've
can't
had
do anything.
non-HUD trash unit. I've had HUD trash unit. So no, it's right. So.
At least if you pay the rent.
But that's where the argument lies, that some people can't afford to put all that money in the property.
I
You know.
mean, make them responsible.
Well-
There's a different formula for,
They didn't do anything.
section.
Right.
You can still ask for a credit score, right? A minimum credit score? You can still set your own standards.
Oh, yeah.
What Prairie State wants is that standard to be even. You don't wanna make it, where you're basically
But if
throwing
I
out
say
new
nobody-
rules, cause you don't want that.
Miner's written.
I know you're,
stone.
yeah, I know it, yeah.
It's literally, I don't talk to anybody on the phone
Right.
ever. It's all done through an email.
Right.
Pre-screen questionnaire, here's my standards, do you meet them or do you not?
Yeah.
I actually tried to get check stubs and everything.
Hey, but you got a copy of that? Yeah, but you know, you're better off making them show you online through their payment portal because check stubs are so easy.
I got two, I wanna put back on hand.
Well, everybody, let's thank Mike and Warren for coming out today. Thank you. Thank you, guys.